We can get started then. We're on Kuf Yud Gimel, Masechta Shabbos, Kuf Yud Gimel, 113. Mishnah. Koishrin Vli Bapsika. You can use your belt to tie a pail of water over a well, because you're gonna use your belt, and therefore you're not gonna tie the knot in a permanent fashion and be mavatal the belt to the pail. So that's why you're allowed to do it. Avalo b'chevel. But you're not allowed to do it with a rope, because we're concerned that you're going to leave that rope permanently, and then you've tied it forever. And that's a kesher shel kayama, would be osra on Shabbos. But Rabbi Yehuda matir, Rabbi Yehuda permits it. The Gemara will explain why. Klalam Rabbi Yehuda kol kesher shel kayama and chayav alav. A kesher that's not permanent, you're not chayav. Now, when the Mishnah said lo bechevel, chevel demai, what kind of chevel? Ile mechevel de alma. If we talk about a regular rope, why would Rabbi Yehuda matir? He also understands that it's a kesher shel kayamahu. Ela chevel de gardi. It's the weavers would use this kind of string, and there would something you would use that string again. So you wouldn't leave it there. So then, comes out that the Mishnah is talking about a weaver string. So then why did the Chachamim aser? L'meimed Rabbanan Savi Gazrin Chevel de Gardi Otu Chevel da. The Chacham make a gzeira. They don't allow you to use. They understand that Meikar Adin, you could use the weaver's string. We don't allow you because it's a gzeira. You might come to use a regular string, which would create a problem. And Rabbi Yehuda's matir, because Rabbi Yehuda suffered loikas rinan, that Rabbi Yehuda is not goizer, which seems to suggest that Rabbi Yehuda is more lenient regarding gzeiros. V'reminu, I'll ask you a kasha from a baraisa. Chevel shenifsak. You have a rope that's attached to a pail over a well, and the rope broke, and it's Shabbos. Lo yeh koshro. You shouldn't tie the two strings together. Ela onvo. You make a bow, like a shoe knot, like a bow, and that's not a kesher. You know, emer korech alav punda opsika. You use a belt and you connect the two with a belt without a bow. Now, it seems like here Rabbi Yehuda is being goizer, don't make a bow because you're going to come to make a knot. And the Chachamim are not goizer. So it's just the opposite of our Mishnah. Kasha Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda. Kasha Rabbanan, Rabbanan. So the Rabbanan, Rabbanan like Kasha. It's not a stira chevel bechevel michle. They don't allow you to use a rope, because there, a weaver's rope versus a regular rope, people will make a mistake. But aniva b'kshira, but if you're allowed to make a bow, lo michlefei, you're not going to be confused that if I'm allowed to make a bow, I can make a knot. That the Chachamim are not worried about. Over there in our Mishnah, they're worried about two different kinds of rope. People are not going to be able to distinguish between the two. It's not the reason why Rabbi Yehuda over there asers a bow is not because of Gzeira. He holds that making a bow is mamish being kosher. So it has nothing to do with Gzeira. So it's not a stira that in one place Rabbi Yehuda is not making Gzeira, in other places he does. Here, there's no gzeira. It was also me'ikar adin according to his shita. Amar Rav Abba, Rav Chia Barashi, Amar Rav. Maybe Adam Chevel Mitoch Beisro. Person could take a rope from his house. The kosher of a para uve'evus. You could tie one end of the rope to his cow and the other end to the feeding trough. We're not concerned that he's going to leave because he's gonna untie both of them eventually, and therefore it's not a kesher shel kayam. Let's say you come outside on Shabbos and there's a rope tied to the trough. You can tie one end to the part, or vice versa. You see your cow with a rope tied to its neck and it's dangling free. You can tie the other end to the feeding trough. As long as you don't take a new rope from your house and tie both ends. So that's a kasha on what Rav said. So when it says awesome, where it says it's osir, that's a chevel de alma. A regular rope, we're concerned he might leave it. But hacha, where he said you're allowed to do it, that's chevel de gardi, the rope that you use for weaving, because that you would remove because you need to use that for other purposes. Various implements that were used by the weavers are not muktzah. They're not muktzah on Shabbos because you could use them for other. And Rashi says the two like weaving rods that you could use for other purposes. It's not consistent since it's got other purposes. It's not muktzah mlachas ha'isr. Sometimes there's a muktzah where because it's used for a specific purpose for isr, it's muktzah. But if it could be used, the items could be used for something that's permitted on Shabbos, it's not muktzah. Boy minayin Rav Yehuda. So they asked the following question. This was the large beam above and below the loom. Is that muktzah? In Valav Rafi B'Yadi. He didn't really know. He said yes, no. He was confused. He didn't know whether he should be matir or not. So Itmar Amrav Nachman Amar Shmuel Kli Kivoy Mutal Atav B'Shabbos. All implements for weaving are not muktzah. Even the upper and lower beams. Aval lower tamudi, the side posts that I guess the women would connect the loom to, that would be muktzah. So why are the amudim being treated in the kovid ha'elyon and the kovid ha'tachton? Because maybe the side beams are placed in the ground and they make a hole. Maybe they call it gumos, and you can be chayiv for boneh. No, gumos b'meila kahavit. Those holes were there. It's not like you stuck the poles in a virgin ground and you made holes. No, the poles are. It's like these are holes that are made in advance. You slide the poles in, you take them out. The holes are there. You didn't make the holes. It's not. It's known as tachas hagefen. The person had hidden vegetables or radishes underneath a vine. So as long as it mixes olive magulim, as long as the leaves of the vegetables you can see, so there's no muktzah, ein choshesh. And it's not considered that they're going to take root and create a problem, lo mishum kaloyim, because you can't plant different kinds of species together, lo mishum shviyis, and not if it was shmita and you'd be considered as a planting, lo mishum meiser, it's not bottle like normal, it's not, and they're not muktzah. And I must be because also you're not pulling the vegetables out of the ground, making a hole and being chai for boneh, because the holes were there already. The Gemara says the sada lo asila ashvigus. We're not talking about creating the holes. We're talking about filling the holes. So in a field, you're allowed to pull these vegetables because you're not going to come to fill up the holes on Shabbos. You're going to leave the holes the way they are. But in a house, you might fill up the holes that you left by pulling the rods out, and then you'd be chayav for boma. Kli kivoy, the implements that were used for weaving, the question we asked before, which we brought a brisa that seemed to suggest that you're allowed to touch them, they're not muktzah, the upper and lower beams. Ma'ul l'tapla m'shabbos are they muktzah? Amrlei ein metatl, they're muktzah. Matam l'fisha ein nitolim. They're very heavy. Very heavy items like our that are kavua, and they're bottled to its place. You're not allowed to move them from one place to another on Shabbos, but so it's muktzah for a different reason, because of its heavy weight. Mishnah. Mekaflim es akelim, you're allowed to fold your clothes on Shabbos, afilu arba v'chamisha pa'anim, even 4 or 5 times. Umatzinas amitos, you can make your bed milele Shabbos l'Shabbos, from Friday night to Shabbos morning. Avalomi Shabbos to Motzei Shabbos, but not Shabbos afternoon going to go into Motzei Shabbos. You don't have to be meichen from Shabbos to Chol. Rabbi Yeshua Omer Makabel Mesakelim, he agrees that you can fold the clothing Umatzinas amitos Yom Kippur l'Shabbos. In the times of Chazal, when they were Makadesh the Levana Bere'iyah, Yom Kippur could fall on Friday or on Sunday. In our calendar, it could never fall on Friday or Sunday, because the calendar's been calculated that way. But in the times of Chazal, it could. So Rabbi Shmuel said you could fold your clothing or make the beds from Yom Kippur going into Shabbos, because you're malin b'kodesh. Shabbos is higher than Yom Kippur. Not only that, if Yom Kippur fell on a Sunday and you offered a korban on Shabbos and you hadn't burned the chalavim yet, you could burn them Shabbos night, which is already Yom Kippur, because again, Yom Kippur is on a lower level than Shabbos. But not vice versa. Avaloshel Yom Kippur b'Shabbos. If Yom Kippur was Friday and you had leftover chaylev, you were not allowed to be burned at Friday night. So Rabbi Shmuel holds that there is a hierarchy in Kedusha between Yom Kippur and Shabbos. Rabbi Kiva Omer no. Lo shel Shabbos craving Yom Kippur, but lo shel Yom Kippur craving b'Shabbos. Rabbi Kiva holds that they're equal. And therefore, you cannot meichen from Shabbos to Yom Kippur, from Yom Kippur to Shabbos. Amri Dvei Rabbi Yanai. When do we say a person's allowed to fold his clothing? Lo shana adam echad is a singular person. Avol b'shnei bnei adam, but let's say 2 people are going to fold the sheets, right? Lo, because that is going to do it. That's going to create a tikkun kli. One person doesn't do it so perfectly, so and Rashi says it's almost like a marasayan. Nearing kimetaknim. So you can't fold clothing with 2 people. And uvaram echad nami lo amarn el b'chadashim. You're only allowed to fold new clothing, because they're folding them don't make a big difference. Aval b'yishonim lo. But old clothing you're not allowed to fold, because the old clothing, if you fold them, that really improves them. So it's too much of a tikkun if you do it for old clothing. The chadashim nami lo amaram, they didn't permit by chadashim ela b'levanim, white clothes, aval b'tzvuim lo, because by colored clothing the folding will help them a lot. Lo amarn ela she'ein lo hachlif. We only permitted you to fold it if you didn't have another garment to wear. Aval yesh lo hachlif lo, but if you have other garments, you shouldn't fold it. Even the ones we told you you're allowed to fold, you shouldn't fold them. Tana. In Rabbi Gamliel's home on Shabbos, they did not fold their white clothing because they had other clothing. It was a wealthy home. If he has to change with change. Now we're talking about covered Shabbos. A person on Shabbos should wear special clothing and should change his clothing. Now, if there's a poor person, he's a worker, and he doesn't have to change, so during the week, they would lift their clothing up, and they would wear, they would shorten their clothing. Come Shabbos, they should let their clothing hang down. That's the way to make a difference for covered Shabbos. Yishal Shabbat Daf. Maskif Rav Safra. He looks like he's showing off. So Gemara says no. He doesn't do it every day. He's only doing the covered Shabbos. It's not being haughty. Where's the pasuk that tells us that we have to wear special clothing? It's a pasuk in Yeshayahu. Im tashiv mishabas raglecha, asos chafatzecha b'yom kodshi, v'korasa l'shabas oneg, likdosh Hashem mechubad, v'chibadato me'asos drachecha, mimtzo chafatzecha v'daber daber. So we do a lot of drushes, this famous pasuk, I think it's the last parak in Yeshayahu. And we learn a lot of halachas regarding Shabbos. It says, "V'chibadato shelo yeh malbushecha shel Shabbos k'malbushecha shel chol." You have to have special Shabbos clothing because of the inyan of covered Shabbos. V'chiyad Rav Yochanan koi lemonei mechabdoisai. Rabbi Yochanan used to call his clothing my covet. A person's clothing is his covet. Then it says me'asos trachecha. So the Gemara Darshan shlo yehi hilukach shel Shabbos hilukach shel chol. You shouldn't walk on Shabbos the way you walk during the week. We'll see what that means. Mimtzo cheftzecha. That means your personal business. Chafatzecha asurin. You can't go to your fields and look at the fields, what's growing there, and assessing to know how much you'll need to do after Shabbos. You can't do that. But Cheftzei Shamayim mutar. But you could have an auction. You could collect money for the shul. Rashi says poskim u'tzedakah u'mishatchen ala tinokos le'aris. That's why the Zmira Yomash L'Shadei Chabonos comes from here because Cheftzei Shamayim Mutarim. For Dvar Mitzvah, you're allowed to do on Shabbos. V'daber Davar Shloyei Deburcha Shel Shabbos Ki Deburcha Shel Chol. You should not talk about business. Rashi says Mekach u'Memchar v'Cheshbonos. Your speech on Shabbos should be different than Chol. Dibur Aser, but here who are mutter. You can't talk about it, but you can think about it. Here is mutter. So, I'm going to need to spend so much on this field. You can think about it. So, Bishumakulu Chaye. So, I understand everything you said. Aval, Ella, Shloyehi Lukach Shel Shabbos Ki Lukach Shel Chol. What does that mean? That you're walking on Shabbos should not be like you're walking on weekday. Person comes to a stream. If you can place one foot across the stream without lifting the other foot, mutter. We don't want you to jump. The imlav aser, you shouldn't jump. That's like a vachadika thing. It's like a weekday thing. Well, I understand. What should you do? Likif, should he walk around the stream? Come off of shpilucha. He's increasing his walking. That's extra tircha. Liaver, if he should try to go through it the way we suggested, Zimnin de mitvasin money maya, he's going to get his clothes wet. V'asi l'dei schita, he's got to squeeze it out, and it's going to come to schita, which is a Isser Shabbos. So ela baha, kivan de loyafshir shapir dami. In that case, then you can jump it. You don't have to do this special thing. Ela k'deboy Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi. Ma'alif so psia gasa b'Shabbos. Can you take big steps on Shabbos when you walk? Amr lo b'chi b'chol mihutra. You're not allowed to do that even b'chol. It makes you look haughty. Shani omer psia gasa and tell us echad b'chamish meos b'mor einayim shel adam. Walking in this way, you lose 1/500th of your eyesight. U'mahader le b'kidusha devei shimshi. The eyesight that you lost during the week for taking these big steps, you get it back when you make kiddush. Rashi says, "Ashoy semiyayin shel kiddush b'leili Shabbosos returns this eyesight to you." I've seen in Hasidic sefers that during kiddush you should look at the neiros, because the Meikra Din, you need to have 2 candles on Shabbos, neiros, plural. We have more, but basically you're Makayim mitzvah of Ner Shabbos with 2 neiros. Ner, Bigamatria is 250. So neiros, 2 neiros is 500. So by looking at the neiros during Kiddush, it returns your eyesight. But you have to look at them. Boimne Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi. Ma'ol echol adama b'Shabbos. Can you eat dirt on Shabbos? It's some kind of medicinal thing. You're not allowed to do it even on the weekday. It's damaging. So you certainly shouldn't do it on Shabbos either. Whoever eats the dirt of Bavel, it's like you're eating your ancestors, because the Gemara is going to say that the Mabul, the lowest part in that region, was Bavel. So everything settled in Bavel. So if from the Mabul, so it's like you're eating your ancestors. Because all of the creeping, crawling animals ended up there. So they got dissolved there. So by eating the dirt, you're going to eat these things. Why is Bavel Shinar? Shekol Meisei Mabul Ninaru L'Sham. All the dead corpses of the Mabul washed up there. Mitzula is like a sieve. Shekol Meisei Mabul Nitztalu L'Sham. They ended up there. So why do you think you're eating shkotz r'mashim? They got melted away. How can you say it's like you're eating shkotz r'mashim? It's all got melted. Amri kivan de malki gazru be'rabanan. Since eating dirt makes you sick, they make it a gzeira. Dahu gaver de ochel gargishta. A person ate the ground or the dirt for medical reasons. V'achal takle, ate watercress. The kazchule takle belibe umis. The watercress grew from the dirt that he ate and surrounded his heart, and he died. Now, because we darshaned about Kavod Shabbos, the Gemara remembers that there are some psukim regarding Rus, Hamoaviyah, that relates to Shabbos. So it's going to quote a whole bunch of drushes about Rus. It says, this is Naomi gives advice to Rus to go and meet Boaz at night at the threshing floor. And Naomi tells her, V'rachatz, you should wash the sach, you should anoint yourself with oils, the samtsim lo sayich, and you should put on a nice dress. Because Rashi says she wasn't naked, it means put on a special dress. It's a Shabbos ticket dress. She put on her Shabbos clothes. And sometimes there's a pasuk in Mishlei, that says, Tein lechacham v'yech kamod. Sometimes you give a piece of advice to a wise person, he gets even smarter. Amar Blazer, Zu Rus HaMoaviyah, U'Shmuel HaRamosi. That's Rus and Shmuel. What's this? Rus, the Ilu Naomi Kamer Lo Brachatz V'Sach V'Samtzim Lo Saich Alayich. Naomi told her, get wash and anoint and get dressed and then go down to the threshing floor. The Ilu B'Didoksiv, when it comes to what she actually did, she said, but she went Vateret HaGoyret. She went down there first. Then she washed and she anointed and got dressed. Because she understood that if she got dressed at home and walked outside in her finery to the threshing, people would see her and they'd think she was a zona. So to be more modest, she did it this way. What's the case of Shmuel? Of Tein Chacham v'Yechkam Od. Ilu Eli Ka'amar Lei. When Shmuel was old enough, Chana brought Eli to the Mishkan to serve under Eli, who was the Kohen and it was the Shofet at the time. And Eli told him, Shchav, v'haya im yukray lecha v'amarta daber Hashem. Eli suspected that Shmuel might be a Navi, and he told Shmuel, listen, you sleep here, but if you hear a voice calling out to you, you should say daber Hashem. Ki shomei avdecha, because your servant is listening. The ilu b'dideiksi, but by Shmuel it says, vayavo Hashem vayisyatzad. Hashem came, vayikra k'pam b'pam Shmuel, and Hashem said, Shmuel, vayomer Shmuel, daber ki shomei avdecha, v'lo amer daber Hashem. He wanted to make sure that it was Hashem who was speaking to him before he said daber Hashem. Then, v'telech v'tavod v'tzlaket pasadeh. The Megillah says that Ruth came looking for work, and she followed the workers, the harvesters of Boaz. Like, what is that? It seems like back and forth, back and forth. She didn't start working for Boaz. She kept on meeting sort of low-class people that she didn't think were the right people that she should hang around with, until she met Boaz's people. Boaz said to his workers, who is this Nara? Now we have to understand, gentlemen, who was Boaz? Boaz was Ivtzan. Ivtzan was the Shofet. He was the Gadol Ador. He's Rav Moshe Feinstein of that generation. The Chidarko shel Boaz lishol b'na'ara, and Boaz is going around asking for the young girls. Rabbi Lazar, Dvar Chachma Ra'aba. He saw a lot of intelligence and halachic knowledge. Shnei shibolim lakta, shlosha shibol meina lakta. The din of leket is you're only supposed to take 2 sheaves, not 3. She knew the halacha. She only took 2, not 3. And the Masnisa Tana, in a Mishnah, they say Dvar Tznius Rabbah, that what Boaz saw that made him take attention was modesty. Om dos me'umad, no flos me'yushu. That means those sheaves in the shikha that she was allowed to take, they were standing up, so she took them standing. But those that fell on the ground, she wouldn't bend over and show her immodest parts could be revealed. Rather, she sat down and picked those up, covering herself that way. So he saw that she was modest. Then he told her, "Chotid bakin im narosai." You should stick to my workers. Again, these were other women that were working in his camp, and he told Ruth to hang around with them. So I don't know, Boaz is hanging around with the women. Amr Abelazar, Kivin the Chazav Atishak Ar Palacham Osav Rus Davka Ba. He had heard about the story about Naomi coming back from Stay Moab with Orpah and Ruth, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law and went back, but Ruth clinged to Naomi. That's the Dovka, and that's the Loshni of Achotid Bakin im Narosai. Omar Sharili Bukiba. She's converted to Yiddishkeit, and it's okay to marry her. He's already planning, thinking that this might be somebody to marry. And because remember, Ruth had said, Elokayach Elokai, your God will be my God. This is what he had heard about. Boaz said when it was time to eat, Goshi Halom. Come close. Halom is a v'achalt min alechem v'toval pitecha v'chometz v'teshav mitzara kotzim v'yitzbot lo kaliva tochal v'tizbar v'tosar. That's the pasuk. Now this Goshi Halom, so Halom is not a very common word. So Chazal picked up on that. Amr Abelazar, Remez, Ramazla, he gave her a hint. Atida, Malchus Beis David, Latzeis B'meich. Malchus Beis David's going to come from you. Tichsiv Bey, Halom. Shneamar, Vayavo Melech David, Vayeshev B'nei Hashem, Vayomer Mi Anochi Hashem Elokim, Umi Beisi Ki Aviosani Ad Halom. We'll see there, David is sitting, and that's when he starts thinking about, he has to build the Beis HaMikdash. I sit in my palace, and you brought me until this place. So that the use of the word halom here is a hint to Ruth that eventually David's going to come out from her. It's going to say this pasuk. The toval pitech bachometz. Boaz told Ruth to dip your bread in the vinegar. I guess it was hot weather, and vinegar is good for hot weather. Rabbi Shmuel ben Achmeni, Remez Ramazla, a hint. Osid ben latzeitz mimech shemasav koshin kachometz. You could have a child that his actions are going to be terrible like vinegar. Umanu Menashe, right? One of the Malchei Beis David was Menashe Melech, who ruled for 55 years and worshipped Avodah Zarah, and so he gave. This is a hint about Menashe. Vatesha mitzada kotzrim. She sat on the side of the harvesters. Amar v'los mitzada kotzrim, v'lo b'tocha kotzrim. He sat on the side, not in the middle, and Boaz sat on the opposite side. That was also a remez ramaz lo shatida malchus beis David shetischalek. That after Shlomo HaMelech ruled and his son Rechavam, the Malchus was divided, and Yeravam ben Nevat took away the 10 Shvatim. So this is also a remez that is given here to Ruth. Vayitzbat lo kali vatochal. She ate from the grain. Amar Abelazar vatochal b'mei David.
Alex, I call you in 5 minutes.
That your children are going to be around b'mei David. Batizba, they're going to be satiated b'mei Shlomo. Vatosar, even it's going to be left over even b'mei Chizkiah, who was even a later king. V'ikid yari vatochal b'mei David b'mei Shlomo. Vatizba b'mei Chizkiah. Vatosar b'mei Rebbe. It means he gave her a hint that your progeny is going to be around even all the way to Rebbe, because the Masorah is Rebbe. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi also came from Beis David. The Omar Mar, and that they're very wealthy. This was like a brach of wealth. Omar Mar, Arure de Rebbe have Asir Mishvar Malka. The horseman of Rebbe was wealthier than the Persian king Shvar Malka. That's how wealthy Rebbe was. The Masnisa Tana Vatochal Ba'olam Hazeh Vatizbali Moshe Mashiach Vatosar La'asid Lavo. It's a more midrashic statement. Then Vatachas Kvodo Yikad Kikod Eish. Because we said Rav Yochanan called his clothing cover. This is a pasuk in Yeshaya. It says, "Lachen yishlach Adon Hashem tzvakos b'mishpanav razon v'tachas kvodo yikad kikod eish." That it was a nevuah that the Assyrian army is going to come, and Hashem is going to kill them underneath the kvodo by burning them. So it's machlokas. Amar v'yich v'tachas kvodo v'lo kvodo mamish. It means under their clothing. And Rav Yochanan Tamed, Rav Yochanan Korlamani Mekabdoisai. So there's a machlokas. Rav Lazar Tachas Kvodo Mamish. It means, it didn't mean their clothing. It means where the Assyrian army was very honored because they were considered great armies, this can be left fire. That the way they were killed was the way Nadav Avihu were killed. Malahal and Sreifos Neshama V'Guf Kayim. By Nadav Avihu, they were burned on the inside, but their bodies remained intact. Avkan, when they went into the Syrian camp, Sreifos Neshama V'Guf Kayim was also an internal burning, and their bodies were intact. Okay, we'll stop here. Yeshkoch, everybody. We will learn